My dear students of Navbharat Senior Secondary School, very good morning to one and all. Now I am your English teacher, Mr. Ismail. We have studied one lesson earlier, and I think that you have known it and you have discussed, and among yourself you have discussed in deep all the main points of the concerned lesson. Today we are going to have the second lesson titled by Lost Spring. Written by Anish Jung. Now, a few more sentences about the author. Anish Jung was based on Hyderabad, and she was a very expert in journalism and also very good writer, very story writer, and also a very in every field she enters into the local people as well as a very deplorable sense of people he is depicting their life. He always bring forward their pitiable condition, deplorable condition, and the meanest position of those people. And she has written a very famous book, Unveiled India. This book is very famous one. Especially this book is focused with Muslim ladies who are under parda. The deplorable situation or condition of Indian Muslims, especially Muslim ladies, they are under their parda, lacking their primary education, lacking their employment facilities, lacking their social skills, lacking in order to drive the country or the leadership qualities. All these things are very clearly depicted in this book, Unveiled India. So, here Lost Spring, we know very well that we are all fond of getting a springtime in our life. The spring is the most valuable, interesting and lovable and very fortunate time of an individual. But if it is a lost one, or if it is made a great loss to each individual, we cannot think of that. Please note that spring, the four major seasons of a year, this season, spring, summer, autumn, winter. Among those four seasons, spring stands first, and spring is called the youth of a person, or spring and youth are closely connected, interlinked one. So, my dear students, you are in your adolescent stage and just going to enter into your youth stage, and it is called the springtime. The most valuable time of a person, the most creditable time of a person's lifespan, the most important or the most significant time of a person's life is called springtime. So here what happens now, that springtime, suppose you think that you have been banned from your education, you have been banned from getting a job, you have been banned from availing a good job, you have been banned from socializing with others. What is this would be the most cruel approach to a youth or to an adolescent stage. So such thing happens here, where in India, to whom? To a group of people. They were not really Indian born people. and we are here discussing about the condition of such children who migrated from Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, now we know very well that there was a war between Pakistan and Pakistan. Now you know very well that former East Pakistan, there was Pakistan has two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. And East Pakistan was very closer to Indian state West Bengal. So for administrative purpose, for the East Pakistan suffered a lot much because West Pakistan was far away, after covering all the Indian area, one could reach there. So their culture and everything is totally different. So East Pakistan wanted to get freedom. So there was a freedom movement, an independent freedom struggle happened in the year 1971, or liberation of a new country, Bangladesh, and India supported Bangladesh liberation movement, and Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. And in 1971, a new country, after defeating or after getting liberation from the slavery of West Pakistan, and Pakistan got divided into two countries, and one, the East Pakistan, later known as Bangladesh, and West Pakistan is known as only the Pakistan. So when they got liberation, there happened in 1970 when a great storm and violent wind in Bengal, Bay of Bengal area, we could see, and every year calamities often come in this area. Sometimes it may come in Bangladesh, sometimes it may come in Bengal, sometimes it may affect in Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. But we are lucky, we are in the western coast, Arabian Sea coast. So in the Bengal, in that area, heavy storm and this violent, terrible, horrible wind totally devastated the area, in some area of Bangladesh. So people became certainly refugees. The government could not give much support and much financial aid to the people concerned. They lost everything A to Z. They lost their cultivating area, they lost all their hutments, they lost everything, and they were forced to run away from that country. And that time in our border there was not much restriction for refugees to get into our country. So our lesson starts with this point. A group of people, especially nearly 10,000 people, they fled to India and reached finally our capital, New Delhi. In New Delhi, you know, at present we could see so many hutment areas. Bangladesh area, then Biharis area, then Malayalis area, it's a very small hutment area, then Nepalese area. Like that when we go and see in Delhi, the outskirts of Delhi, we could see various hutments of various stakeholders. So they came directly to Indian capital New Delhi and settled at a particular place, and that particular place is called Simapuri. Simapuri, that's a particular area. So they reached there at 1971 and settled there, started very meanest formation of hutments. The government did not bother about their settlement, or the government did not bother about giving any aid or facilities or any help for them. because our country, our country is always facing a lot of problem to maintain our people, at least to give them minimum requirements of food, clothing, shelter. So here they were leading a very, very, very deplorable life, meanest life, very pitiable life. Or you can say they were leading grind poverty, not property, grind poverty. That means severe poverty was there. They were leading a very severe poverty. So their children and their elders, they separated. The children wanted to get something for their bread, and also elders wanted something to get for their livelihood, or in order to maintain their food and everything. The only available thing in their hand was only a ration card. Then you may ask, why do they get a ration card? Only the politicians, the politicians need each individual support in order to bag his votes. Only our Indian politics, only at the time of election we would see the face of our common people. So somehow the politicians' agents would come and promise them to take and give them each family at least one ration card. With that ration card they could at least collect ration facilities, so they could enjoy ration facilities from ration shops. So ration card, no other identity cards are available with them. So ration card was only the identity in their hands. So what happened, elders do some other work. What work? Any work or any type of money or any type of help, they consider it a golden one for them. So here our last praying by Anish Jung is referred to only the lessons concerned only to our school going children. No, this is something related to the school time or school going time of our children. They have to go at this time in our secondary schools or upper primary schools, but they could not go. They could not go for two reasons. In their hutment area, there was no schools. It happened in 1971 onwards. There were no schools to accommodate for them, and the government was not taking much interest in their personal matters. And the government could not provide schooling facilities for those children. That was one another aspect, So, children were totally unaware about schooling education. Every morning we could see this Himapuri, the outskirts of New Delhi, we could see an army of children marching forward. An army of children means a group of children. They were marching forward. A bag was on their shoulder, or a sack was on their shoulder, or some paper or some other cover was on their shoulder, and they were moving barefooted. They were moving to the streets, on various streets close to Delhi area. They were moving forward to scrounge. Scrounge means they wanted to detect from the waste or garbage. From the garbage they wanted to detect. They shuffled the garbage and they were searching what was available in their garbage. Maybe a piece of plastic thing, maybe sometimes they may get coins, sometimes they may get some additional valuable things from there, or maybe something else. The things that were once the people thrown away, or they were discarded once, And all these things, these substances or all these materials finally come and littered on this garbage. So they started, the children, like military, they were moving on the streets, and every morning we could see such a sight in Simapuri. They were moving here and there, scrounging all the garbage heaps to find 1 rupee coin or to find any thrown material that could be used for them for some other purpose, or it could be turned for recycling purpose, and they could get a little bit of money out of that. So they scrounge everywhere, all the pigs or all the piles of garbage they were searching for in order. So that was their work at Simapuri. My dear students, understand one thing, that is the clear face. This is what is going on in India at present also. Though we got independence and we got independence before 70 years, still in India we have 40% of people still won't have one-time sumptuous food. That is a very painful state of Indian common people, or the low-lying people, or the common workers, and that is a very pitiable one. So, our author Anish Jung, one day she saw the sight of this deplorable sight. So she called one boy and to know the condition of various things. She called one boy. I told you that Anish Jung was a lady, or she was a writer who always depicts the low-lying picture of Indian generation. So, here she called a boy and asked his name, and he was carrying a long sack on his shoulder, very lean body, and body was not covered because there was no shirt for him, and also his companions, there were no shirt, and half-naked, like we could say, an half-naked boy, and fully barefooted. And Sahib Alam, really the word, his name was Sahib Alam. The name, the real meaning of that word, we could know very well. Alam is the whole universe. Sahib means friend or leader. The leader of the universe, or the great person of this universe, or the brother of this universe. But these boys or this boy did not know his meaning, or he might have asked the question why this name was called by this boy, because he was leading such a party-stricken life. So that was his name. And he called, our author Anish Jung called and collected a lot of information. So the boy started narrating his story that we are going to study here, the first part related to Simapuri. This lesson has two main parts. One is related to another aspect, that is elders. That is something different from this Simapuri, because it is related to elders. It happens in another part in UP area, that is Firozabad, that we would come later. So, Anish Jung made so many queries to collect a lot of information. They started telling that every day they started like a march to the outskirts of Delhi area, to scrounge something, not to get something. The money they would give to their parents, sometimes the money they would take by themselves for having their livelihood. Anyway, that was the main routine habit of those children at Simapuri. Now, our author asked one day, we have so many examples, our author asked one day, she asked one, why did they not going to school? So immediately she got the answer. They would like to go to school, but there was no school available in that area. So our author immediately asked if she was ready to start in school, whether they would attend in the school. They would immediately reply they were ready to attend the school. And later also, Sahib Alam asked one day, he saw our author and asked, Madam, whether the school's condition was over or whether the schools started or not. But I replied that it had a lot of formalities to start. Anyway, it didn't start then. So, that question really gives our one lightning question that they were all ready to go to school if they are provided all the facilities by the concerned authorities. But that was not the case there. So they could not go to school. That was one incident. At another time, our author could see that there were very hot time it was, or it was very cold time, extreme cold and extreme hot. In those days they were moving, they were walking or they were on their foot, barefooted they were moving or marching forward to see or to anchor, to see and anchor all the heaps of garbages to get some money or to get something from there. What did they get from those was really equivalent to a gold coin. That was the condition or that was the state of their poverty. Remember that. My dear students, think of those people, think of those children who are very much who are the citizen of our country. No, though they were the citizen of this Bangladesh, they came here and stayed here, and it is our duty to look after them, to maintain them, to give them all facilities. But due to a lot of reasons, government was not ready to have any look or have any eyes on them. So they were leading very deplorable life. They should have sit along with our benches, as our friends or as our classmates. But they could lost all these opportunities. That is the case. In such case, that is a matter in the worldwide. Still we have such a very vast generation in the world who are deprived of their education, their secondary or primary education. They are deprived of their minimal requirements for their daily life. They are deprived of their social stability in life. So many problems are there, but we are not in detail, we are not discussing. Just I have given you a clue to think about. Our duty is to collectively, we have to see all these problems and have something to do for the betterment of all these needy and begging people. Give some help to them, give some alms to them, and we should be a little bit of charity or sympathetic and empathetic towards them. Then only we would call as human beings. We would cast our eyes to the nook and corner of India and see any deplorable persons are there, any children are there bearing or depriving their primary education, their social life, their primary need. We have to make a collection of this group and give them some assistance and everything. then only we could call they are all our brothers and sisters. That's another matter. So at another point we would see, our author could see that one day they are walking in a barefooted. So our author asked, why didn't they use any chappals or sandals? Immediately the answer came. The answer was, Sahib Alam told that their mother or their mothers won't take the chappals from their shelf and provide them to wear it. Maybe one reason was there. Another reason came from another boy. That was they didn't have money to purchase any chappal. Another cause came. That was they had chappal, but that they didn't use their sandals or chappal because that was their traditional life, or that was a traditional practice that they have to be on the streets without chappal. So anyway, that was the answer for them. At another time, they could see that, our author could see, Anis Jung could see that Sahib Alam was very interestingly, he was looking through a net, to a tennis court. He was witnessing, or he was looking very interesting in the game. The tennis game was going on in that court. He was not allowed to enter into that area, but far ahead of that area he was interestingly looking. It shows that they were very interested in sports, games, everything. But our authorities, our bureaucrats won't allow them to come closer to the site and to visualize those things. So, what did happen was, he was interestingly seeing that game, and he wished that he could get a dress like that, and he wished to have such a shoe. So, our madam asked our author and called the boy and asked, did you like to have play there? So the reply came immediately, they were fond of playing in that court, but it was banned because the watchman was there, so he could not get into that court. At another time, Anis Jung could see that one day, Anis Jung could see that Sahib Alam was moving on the road by having a new shoe. So she got surprised and thought for a while, from where did he got that pair of shoes? So she called the boy and asked. Immediately he replied that it was a new shoe, but really it was not a new shoe. It was a shoe thrown by the local luxuriant people or rich people. They might have thrown it only because one pair has a very minute hole under his on the sole side. So he might have thrown it away. But seeing those things, Salam thought that, oh, very new one, fresh one. So he took it and he wore it. And when we would see that shoe, we could only think that it was fresh and new one. It also, Anis Jung wanted to stress this point here. Our rich people, our exorbitant people, our luxuriant people, spendthrift, they spend a lot of money, they ordered a lot of foodstuff, but they consume very little from the ordered foodstuff. They use their dress and other accessories for a very short period, and they are throwing it away, they are wasting it away and putting all their belongings in the garbage or in the litter, only because they didn't know the condition of our Indian people. We might have used our chappals at least for 6 or 7 months in olden times. I had used my chappal for more than 6 or 7 months because I thought of its value. The present generation, they might use only for 3 or 4 months because they knew that another model, then they could see another model in the shop, they thought that father could or their concerned person could buy another set of shoes or chappal. So they think about throwing it or cast it away. But they didn't they didn't imagine about the condition of our poor people who are in their long span of life, they might have used only 1 or 2 chappals. So, our other could understand, she understood it very well. And another time she called our Sahib al-Alam and asked another question. The question related to their support to their family. The support to their family was, how did they support their family? So the answer came with the answer that they may collect a lot of garbage, they may move here and there, and very lately they return to their hutments. It was a very simple construction, maybe a covering of tin sheet, or maybe an hatchet, one or hay, something was there on the roof, leading very pitiable and deplorable life in the outskirts of New Delhi. So they would often give a portion what they could get from this garbage scrounging. They would collect those minute amount to their concerned parents, and a little portion they may take for their own. And they knew very well one thing, that they had to save each and every paise they could collect, because they were suffering or they were having such a hardship at New Delhi, in order to lead their simple life or simplest life possible. So that was the condition of Simapuri children. We can call them rag pickers. So, Simapuri was dealt with rag pickers. All these children, we are discussing about those children. Their number really comes to minimum 10,000. Every day we could see a rag on their shoulder or on their back, and was moving or marching like army troop here and there, scrounging every nook and corner to collect or to see, to pick up what was inside in that garbage or in that litter, to take or to have something for their livelihood or for their supporting of their family or for their parents. Such a condition, that was the condition of Simapuri, and we would call them rag pickers. People won't allow, or people won't entertain anything, or people won't like to talk about them. People won't give any consideration. People won't stretch out their arms for giving anything to these poor or needy or meanness people or children, or people don't extend any sympathy or empathical quality towards these. As far as the rich people or the luxuriant people or the spendthrift persons were concerned, they call these children wretched, unwanted, unwanted children who really spoils the city area like that. But because we have to think one thing, that they are also the citizens of our country, they are also the demanding wing of our country, but they are totally deprived or totally sidelined by the concerned government or some concerned other administration. That is the main idea, theme that Anish Jung wanted to explain or narrate here. This is the first part of the lesson. Okay, my dear students, you have to go through these aspects in detail. And in next lesson, I shall go, next part, the second part is something related to Firozabad. There is another section. There what the elders are doing, or the elders' work and their routine habitual things, that we have to study in detail and compare both these two narrations. We could have a total overall outlook on the subject matter. Then we could understand how she is important as a writer, as a narrator, as a journalist in the history of India. And she is very good. She explained everything in detail, and she gives a very clear pictorial presentation of Indian social life. So study well, go in deep all the words, then only you could understand all the, not much difficult words are here. So you may have to study in detail all with, and don't neglect anything. All areas are important. You may during the final examination, the question may ask you know very well that what. So you have to understand everything. So now I would like to conclude this lesson now itself. So the rest I shall resume on the next day. Thank you all.